Hey everybody, it's Doc Eddie here. I'm with Stacy. Uh, we've got Mike is off in Georgia doing a good deed. We have Ken over in Oslo looking at Edward Munch paintings and screaming and thought that Trump could get elected. So the painting's
Mm,
very apropos.
mm.
You know, it's another week where everything that Trump does is just stranger and more over the top, more over the line.
Yep.
And you ask how low you can go, but when you're sitting there and you say in front of a national audience that the vice president was the shittiest vice president in history, and that's the language you use, I don't know where you go from there. I mean, we all know there's way worse words we can use, but and I expect that he may even get there. The the thing is that we have to make sure that for the people that are trying to get Harris elected, that you're doing everything, that you make sure your votes are in, that you're
Yep.
out there talking to your friends and the people that you know will do that and make sure they do. This is all about, getting out the vote. And we are, we're coming into
Yeah.
crunch time. Anyway,
Yeah.
Stacy, I'm stuck.
Hey.
The reason I'm sitting in my truck is I'm sitting up in Flagstaff. I've been up here working today. And so I'm outside. It's actually a very pleasant day out. It's
Hmm.
70 degrees.
Woohoo. Love
But I'm going
that.
to let Stacy sort of take the lead here. So, Stacy,
All
please
right.
go.
Well, it's been a crazy week. And as far as him getting crazier and crazier every day, I feel like at this point, if you're still supporting him, it's just such an unforgivable moral failing, is how I feel. And sure I read that somewhere, but I'm telling you, it's just when I see the signs now, I get a physical reaction because I'm like, it's so close and I can't believe that it's so close. And we need Mike here to go over the polling. Harry, we need him to go over the polling because I know it's so close, but I keep reading up about, those can change and they weren't accurate in the past. And so I'm just hopeful. But this week I've had a rough week because it seems like the crazier he gets, the more Trump signs start coming out. And in my neighborhood on my street, I told you how excited I was. Like, people were putting out their signs this year. So now two houses have Trump signs on my street, which I was so thankful I didn't have to pass those. And like I said, it gives me a physical reaction. Like I just start shaking. And anyway, so we kept walking the opposite way, and thank God there was another house that would put out their Harris sign. So I ended that morning with a Harris sign, and my husband's like, Stacy, it's okay, stay calm. But it's like as nasty as he's getting, I'm like I said, why are they putting out signs? Why are they still supporting him? It's almost like they're like, hey, here we are. So I wanted to tell you, I went to the grocery store. Husband normally does that, but he's down, so I had to go. And I really do not like going to our grocery store by our house because I run into a lot of things I don't want to see, I guess. But anyway, so I see this man and he is wearing a shirt that looks like a Kamala shirt. And I was like, oh, my people, because I always say that, right? And so I looked over because it was like blue and white. It wasn't anything that would have made me think it was the other supporting the other candidate. So I looked at him and I said, oh, and I looked at his shirt and I said, are you for or against? And I go, are you for or against? And he goes, what do you think? And I was like, oh shit. And I said, can you step back? Let me read your shirt. It basically said something about us being stupid for following her. So I ended up saying, wait a second. I said, do you not care about women or women's rights? And I said, and he was like, well, do you have abortion rights in Arizona now? And I was thinking of all my family that's in Texas where they have this really strict abortion ban where they're not even letting you have emergency room abortion ban or abortions, when it's medically necessary. So I wish I would have thrown that out there. But then I brought up Project 2025. And this is what he said. He goes, well, I read it and my brother read it too. And I go, yeah, but all those people that helped write it, they worked for him or they're still kind of in his circle. And he goes, no, all of those people wrote that because they don't want him to win. They're trying to sabotage him. And that's what Project 2025 is about. So the guy said he read it. And so I kept thinking, I wonder what he took away, because now he's definitely was saying, well, they're just doing it to sabotage him. So, so that must mean that he didn't really agree with some of it. What do you think? I don't know. Hi, Louie.
Hello. How you doing?
We're talking about our week and more signs coming out. But I want to say, in my neighborhood, on my certain street, my specific street, we still have 4 Harris walls and only 2 Trumps. So we're still in the lead on my street, if that says anything.
Well,
Here's,
yeah, one of the things that I've noticed when somebody puts it puts a Trump sign out,
mhm.
and I didn't know that that's what they were, it changes the way I look at them.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, it's like, I've got a couple of neighbors that,
No potluck
you wave
dinners.
at them, and now it's
Mhm.
like, seriously, it's like, I thought you were a good person. So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like,
So this lady pulled out, she was driving a Mini Cooper, and it's not that they could just put, like, my signs on my car, just little round ones. They're not like in your face, but she put the big Trump one in the front of her thing. She's smoking a cigarette, wrinkly to, I'm sorry, but I mean, she's just older. And so, not to say anything against the older people, but I'm just saying that I'm seeing the demographics, the ones that put up the Harris sign, they're my age. So does that make a difference? Is it like an age thing? I don't know. As far as getting away from him, I
I
don't know.
think a little bit. I mean, I think the older boomers,
Yeah, and they are
at least the
definitely,
ones that
yeah.
haven't figured out that he's coming in to take away their Social Security and Medicare, because, the ones that are actually intelligent, like that, the retirement
Mm,
village down in Florida, which all of a
mm-hmm.
sudden woke up and went from, 100% Trump to everybody said, no, you're not taking my Social Security.
Right, right. But I
Well,
just
Louis, I
want,
mean, what are you seeing?
yeah. What are you seeing this week?
Yeah, well, yeah, there's signs popping up all over this neighborhood as well. A lot of Trump signs. I mean, and I
Mm-hmm.
think these people have always been there. They just now have got their sign.
Yeah,
I
and
think
and
it might be a bad sign to the campaign because they're barely getting their signs out now. Um,
yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
but I was talking to someone earlier about the election and my thoughts on it, and it's literally going to be a turnout election.
Yeah.
Whichever side can get more of their people turned out is going to win. It's usually elections are like that, but
Mm-hmm.
this one especially, we just got to get people to the polls. So yeah, I think right now it's probably about 50-50 split.
Yeah.
Arizona is going to be a tough one, I think, for
Mm-hmm.
us. But it literally it's turnout. It's turnout. Yeah, we're at the stretch.
Yeah, Dr. Eddie asked me if I voted, and I was like, I voted 72 hours. I voted within the 72 hours after receiving my ballot, vote blue in 72. And then my daughter, she came home. So we went and dropped hers the day after mine, just getting them in the mail as quickly as
Yeah.
possible. I did try to get on some calls, but my setup just wasn't working. But I feel like I did sign up for the week before. So I think this weekend I'm on there. I did go to the rally. I haven't talked to you guys since
No,
yeah,
how was it?
it was still so energetic, like the packed place. Wasn't as big as the other place, that the first one at the in Glendale, as far as seating, but it was still, oh, the energy was there. As a matter of fact, her speech to me was even better,
Wow.
because now she has that confidence, and she just, I just loved it. And my friend who went with me said the same thing. She's like, wow, I liked her speech
Well,
even
I mean, the thing
better
I
this
like
time.
about her is she's turned into a master at the art of trolling. I mean, the
And
way
fighting
she
back.
is
They're
going
fighting
after Trump
back.
is like, it every time she does that, it just emasculates him that much
Mm-hmm.
more. And the thing is, I think you're really, I've been saying for months now that this guy's got dementia,
Right.
uh, and it's going downhill. It was not early dementia; it's actually very advanced.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that now. I mean, you got to have a guy that is going to
Yeah.
be 80 in a year and a half, and he's too tired to go campaign. And you're telling me that you're going to elect a guy that can't keep his eyes open while he's campaigning and not doing anything else except sitting on the toilet tweeting. And
And
you know,
his
we're
rhetoric.
supposed to think that he's the guy
Yeah.
that you're going to call. No, I mean it's just you know, ridiculous.
And he's just at the point to where he doesn't even care. He's cursing. He's calling names. He's the enemy within. You guys, what about that? He's just nasty, talking about who's Arnold's privates. I mean, Jesus, he is our candidate for the Republican Party. How embarrassing for us, for
Well,
America.
you know, and I think that, you know, when you get off, I mean, the whole, you know, not just the fact that he's talking about Arnold Palmer
Yeah.
schlong. I mean, that's bad.
I mean,
Can you
yeah.
But, you know,
believe
the
we
point
even
that
have to
his
say that?
entire speech was talking about Arnold Palmer. Now,
Yeah.
you know, I'm older, I play golf, I know who he is.
Yeah.
When you're talking to younger people,
Mhm.
they have, you know, that's like, you know, you
Yeah.
telling me about Ben Hogan or, you know, somebody from the
Yeah.
20s, you know, decades before I was alive.
Yeah. Go ahead, Louis.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, it is rather bizarre, you know. I mean, and not that all people that vote for him are bizarre, but there's a good percentage of them that kind of stuff is like cool, you know.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
makes you.
it puzzles me, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm actually getting, you know, to the point that, you know, if Kamala keeps pushing him, you know, he's right there on the edge. And I think that, you know, one or two more, you know, good digs at his psyche. And, you know, he's basically, they're going to just hide him and not let him come out at all.
Yeah, and it's sad that he will not release his medical records. We're not. I mean, I
Right.
feel like that is
Well,
just.
there's a good reason from
Of
his standpoint.
course. Yeah.
You're going to find out that he's got advanced dementia. He's got the
Yeah.
cardiac system of somebody that needs to be on a transplant list.
Right.
The guy needs. I mean, I estimate weights for a living. I've been doing it for 40 years. I'm
Yeah.
pretty good at it. This guy weighs over 300 pounds, and you know,
Mhm.
I would say 320, 325 would be my guess.
Mhm.
You know, because the thing is, when you looked at him in the McDonald's, I mean, my God, his waist was huge. You know, he
Yeah,
takes his coat off. You know, and it's like, you know, they could barely get that apron on him. Not
What
to
do y'all
mention,
think?
as a
Yeah.
restaurant owner, there were so many violations of the health code when they were doing that.
And it was
No hairnet,
it was all staged.
no gloves.
They practiced it from what I read. I don't know what you guys read, but at McDonald's, that franchise, they don't choose a side. But in my opinion, I'm not going to McDonald's anytime soon. I would have said no. You're not
Right.
coming to my restaurant. So not that I go to McDonald's often, but I do like a good fry every now and then. I'm
Every
not
once in a
going.
while, it ain't bad, you know.
I
Yeah.
am going to pick a different place. And you know what? In and Out. Are they good? I don't know. I'll research who owns them. Who's the franchise? No, I'm
You know,
just
so
kidding.
you know, from this standpoint, you know, you've got 14 days left. You're wondering,
Oh.
you know, how, you know, what's coming up next on the 2024 bingo card that nobody foresaw. I mean, we've gone from black Nazis, Arnold Palmer, you know, it's like, you know, I can't even invent anything crazy enough, you know, that they would, you know, that would you'd be surprised by.
And that's what makes me so sad is that it's still so close. It is so close. How is
Again,
it even a
I don't think it's that
competition?
close. Yeah, I mean, I know
Well, here's
Louis,
the
as a
thing.
professional, disagrees.
Yes. Well, he loves using the polls. You know that. He's like, I'm leading in polls. So even if the polls are fake or whatever, he will use that and people will believe it. So then when it comes down and pray to God he loses, he's going to be like, but I was ahead in the polls all that time, you know? And so I don't trust the polls because there's so many different places that can have them. But Louis, give us your insight. You know, sometimes I don't like it.
No, I think the polls in this election are you know, they're pretty accurate, I would say. And the reason why I'm saying that, I think a lot of the pollsters kind of corrected for stuff from being wrong in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know, they do this for a living, and you know, but I do think though there's a whole set of new registrations that are very difficult to poll. They're very difficult to
Okay.
track.
Yeah.
And who has more new registrations? I mean, it just depends on the state, I guess. But yeah, I still think she wins. I still think she wins.
So something,
Problem is, if it's
go
so
ahead.
close, he's
Yeah.
not, there's going to be a problem. So,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's one of the things I've been predicting. I mean, and based on the responses on my big banner on the back of my truck, that it's like this week, I had a guy that I passed who was driving this dually Chevy truck. I get
Oh,
about a quarter mile in front of him, then all of a sudden it's like you could just see, because I'm watching him in the mirror. All of a sudden he just
mm.
floors it. And I'm doing 80, so he had to be doing well over 100 to catch me. Roars up to get in front of me, flip me off out the window, and you know that is literally a daily occurrence when I'm driving now.
So my husband and I walked yesterday, and we went the opposite way where the two Trump signs are. And I kind of lost it, honestly. I teared up because it was just, like I said, I have a physical reaction to it right now. And I just think of the type of people they could possibly be. I don't know them, but I'm like, so the other day I was in my car. I don't hold my sign up but if I'm alone, I will, because I don't want to jeopardize anybody else's life in my car. So I promised my husband I wouldn't do it while they're in the car with me. So I was by myself, and the guy and his wife were working out in the yard. So I went by his house. So I did hold up my Biden, so sorry, my Kamala and Harris sign, sorry, that I have in my car. And I held it up, and he sees it, and he gave me the ugliest look and just shook his head no. And I was just like, oh my gosh, because even when I see signs, I don't like give them any, I'm not mean about it, but he did not like my sign at all. So I'm thinking he doesn't get out and walk, because if you see my windows, I have 3 signs in my window, plus the sign in the yard. One says about early voting, Arizona votes early. And then when we vote, we win. And then in the middle is Harris Walls. I got new signs from the rally the other day.
To go on a tangent right here, I think one of the things that I think we're at the stage now that pretty much set where there's not going to be any more October surprises, early November surprises.
So you say.
Everything that that could possibly affect it could be out there. I mean, the only thing would be Russia lighting off a nuclear bomb. And they've been told by literally the entire world that's a really bad idea, because you'd kill a lot of people doing that. So we've still got Gaza, Lebanon, and Israel, but again, it's you're at the point where you're out, and I think we're at a static point. I mean, the people that are going to vote one way or the other based on Israel versus Gaza, they've already made up their mind. It's like you're not going to make it any worse or any better.
It's just like Louis said, who shows up, right? Who's going, and voting, and because I'm still getting the calls and the messages. I got today I got it at time, but I also want to make calls, and so if I can figure it out, just to get because they give you a list of Democrats, so you're just trying to get them to go and vote. So I'm not calling like Republicans and going, "Hey, will you switch now?" But I don't know.
But yeah, and one of the other things that I've been thinking about, it's like the Trump crime syndicate is just getting worse and worse judicial news. I mean, today Rudy Giuliani literally was wiped clean. You've got here the Cochise County voting not registrar, but the person that certifies the election, was found guilty, and they pled it down from a felony. So she just winds up getting probation and $500 fine. But that's sending out.
Was
the
she
message.
The one that pled guilty?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, as part of the plea, that's what she did.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I read something about a lot of the swing states, they're fighting back as far as trying to stop what the Republicans are trying to do, change the rules, change the law like right before. So it sounds like the judicial system is fighting back or not allowing it.
Well,
What do you
I don't
guys
know
think?
if it's the judicial system so much as we've got lawyers that are primed
Lawyers,
ready to go.
yeah.
And
they've been definitely preparing for this for years, literally.
Does that give y'all hope?
I mean, it kind of worries me a bit, only because they also have lawyers, and on election night, when these results start coming in, you know, like it's potentially possible that we're not going to know who the winner is for a
Yeah.
long time. And then we're going to be in this weird void, kind of vacuum period of time. I mean, we will know who the winner is by the results, but then there's going to be fights. And, what happens with the rest of the world and our adversaries, and they know we're in this weird vacuum period.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird, and it's concerning, actually.
Yeah. I feel
I
like
keep
I
getting
don't.
election text messages.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a message. They received my ballot. Great.
Oh, I got mine too. They got pretty
That's a
quick.
good text message to get.
Yeah, those are
Your
good text
ballot has been
messages.
received.
I know.
So actually, let me share something with you real quick. So I got my ballot, and I made a mistake on the ballot. I accidentally voted yes and no for one of the propositions, one of the measures. So I called the county and I said, "Look, what do I do?" And essentially, they said, if you vote accidentally yes and no on one of the measures, that vote will be invalidated, but the rest of the ballot will count. But I didn't trust that, so I had to get a replacement ballot because I'd rather. Yeah. So I had to call. They mailed a new replacement ballot. But my point is, how many people does that happen to?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I voted wrong on one of my propositions also, but I left it because I had the rest of my family. It was the one about the primary voting. You guys kind of helped me out on that, but I'd already voted. I'd already marked it because I was so torn on that one. But everybody else in my family voted the opposite way that I did. So I didn't ask for a new ballot just because I was like, I don't want to risk not getting it.
Now, one thing, I was gonna wait to see what the topic was and what we were talking about, but did you see I think it was Real Clear polling. I can't remember which one it was, but they have Trump ahead in all
real
swing
clear
states.
Politics.
They have him ahead. Did you just say ahead? I did see that pop up too, or at least they got it on my phone. They sent me a thing saying
that doesn't surprise me though, because when you get closer to the election, things start getting real. People start making decisions. The number of independents choose the side. But it doesn't matter because what matters is the turnout. What if all those people that are swinging his way just don't go vote? So it's turnout. It's turnout.
And I don't think I've been polled, have I? I mean, I answer all the questions, but a lot of them lead to, donate, which I did. I donated on my birthday because we share a birthday. So
no. When a pollster calls, those are not real polls.
Okay, my husband got a call. Because my husband got a call because we have our own small business, and he was polled. They had a person and questioned him and everything. They called from Mississippi, sir.
Oh, they did? Yeah, no, I still think she wins. I think it's going to be narrow, but I think she wins. I just think there's going to be so much. I mean, we're talking maybe 1 or 2 percentage points, I think. And
yeah. But here's the difference. It's not going to be a repeat of Bush Gore. Because when you go back and look at that, I think the Democrats just did not fight.
Boy, we messed up. We didn't fight back. Yeah.
And because you get 6 months down the line, they actually go back and actually do recount the votes in Florida. Gore won. But that's and just think how different the world would be if it had been Gore and not Bush.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, just think about that for a second, right? I mean, it would have been Al Gore. Yeah, absolutely.
So one thing that also gives me a little bit of hope, because there's 3 people back in 2015, 2016 election that said he's going to win. And I was like, they're crazy. He is not going to win, but he won, right? It was Michael Moore, right? That guy, is that his last name? Bill Maher, and then the Louisiana guy. Y'all know who I'm talking about? He's always being interviewed.
James Carville.
Yes. So they were all said, of course they're hoping that they're right, but I feel like before they were all like, I think he's going to win. And so they're all saying no.
This is, like the elections are almost like a World Series is, like in sports, or like a Stanley Cup playoff. Like it's all about who has momentum. And we're seeing the momentum switch a little bit to him right now, but tomorrow's another day. Next week is another week. And on November 3rd and 4th, whoever has the momentum wins. So hopefully she can turn it around, because right now it's not looking good. But
And you guys saw there's so many more people voting right now, like
yeah,
the comparisons to before. Of course, we don't know
it,
who they're
we don't.
voting for.
I know. Somebody asked me too, and because I get all these questions all the time, and how can somebody be voting for Trump? Well, think about it. Like you, me, that Eddie, like we're in this every day. So we follow everything, right? Like
Yeah, but they're
people that go
not.
to work, they go to school, they come back, they pick up their
Hmm.
kids, they hear bits and pieces here and there.
Yep.
They're like, they see him working at McDonald's. I like that. That's it. They go
Yep.
to bed, they wake up, like that's all they get.
It's those viral moments.
That's it. That's it. So it doesn't surprise me how people can vote for him. It's just sometimes when you're in it so much, you're in a bubble,
I know. And I know, I understand that, and I feel that. And it's kind of hard to get some people to even hear you out. They're just so
Oh yeah,
over it. They're so over it, right? And I am too. I am just ready to take a deep breath and relax, but I'm not. I'm very emotional right now. I'm
I know.
hopeful, but I'm scared to death. And every day with the dumb things he's saying, and just it's so awful that I cannot believe that he is a possibility.
Right.
And dementia, you're right. That guy has got something wrong.
Oh yeah.
And after this is all said and done, please let's change some laws to where they have to have the medical thing by law. They have to have a civics test by law. You know what I mean? You can't run unless you pass all of this stuff. I'm just so disappointed in
Well,
what's
the only way
happening.
that happens is you have to have the presidency, the Senate, and the House all in one. If you don't have
Yep.
that,
Exactly.
you're not going to be able to do that. Hey guys, I'm going to
Yeah.
let you talk for right now. I'm
Okay.
actually, there's a podcast studio about 5 minutes from here, so I just got a text that they're open, and I'm headed there. So
Okay.
you guys chat amongst yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when you were talking about, or he was saying that we got to have all of those, branches to get anything done, I was researching what she has accomplished, or not her, but Biden and Kamala's, but how they've just gone against every bill they've tried to pass, and it's not going to matter if we don't get all down ballot and get all the people in there that we need to pass, have these bills pass that will affect us in such a better, in a good way.
I think one of
Anyway,
the best things we can do right now is literally talk to our friends and remind them to vote, especially the ones we know they're
yeah.
going to vote. It's turnout. Like we got to really make sure people vote.
So my daughter's boyfriend, we checked his ballot, or if he was registered, because he lives in an apartment, and sure enough, he wasn't on there. He had voted, and so I don't know what happened with that. We got him back in, so he still hasn't received his ballot, but he got a message saying it was sent. So this morning I sent him a sweet message. He's a sweetheart, by the way, and he wants to vote. And I was like, hey, listen, Austin, we need to double check this. I gave him where to vote. I said, if you didn't get your ballot, early voting is now. Let's go in. I'm giving him all the information, sending him links, and said, this is what you can still do. And, let them know you didn't receive it, because in an apartment complex, could have been sent to the wrong apartment, and he wants to vote. So this morning I sent that out. First thing this morning, sent my son a reminder because he was here for my birthday, and his ballot is at his house. And I said, you got to have that in the mail by October 29th. I sent I'm like on it with the people that I'm in their lives.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
like
here's
not letting it go.
I'm at a stoplight right now. So the real key to
Yeah.
this is you got to vote early, get everybody in, because that gets your
Right.
name off the rolls.
Yeah, I
so
did
the
it.
parties
Right.
will see that you voted, and they're not going to waste time trying to track you down. We can go for
Nope.
the lower
And
information, less likely to vote guys, and gig them. And so that's part of the turnout. And Lord knows, the Democrats on that side, they've got a huge advantage over the Republicans.
Oh, absolutely
Elon
agree with
Musk,
you on that.
$47, to get somebody out, notwithstanding, which is also highly illegal.
Right. Right.
mm,
Yeah, what was that thing about Elon Musk
Elon
being
Musk
The $1
investigated?
million.
saying, well, if Kamala Harris,
No,
Are you
he was essentially violating federal law by giving people money to vote, essentially.
yeah, you get your name in a lottery and you can
Yeah,
win $1
right,
million.
right, right.
How is that even legal? How is that? That's not legal, right?
No, it's illegal. You can't do that.
And
Yeah,
so who's going to go after
no,
him? We need the DOJ.
yeah, nobody. Not before the DOJ is not going to get involved before an election. They're not.
And I know some people who are listening to that guy right now because we're in the
Oh
car
yeah, me too.
industry,
Me
and they
too.
know,
and the
and
whole thing
they're
is
going to believe that
one way or another, Merrick Garland's going to be gone.
Yeah,
What
they're
was
just
that?
trying. Go ahead. He said one way or another, Merrick Garland is going to be gone. Is what he said.
Oh, I get. Yeah, I mean, you mean if Trump wins? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh
all
yeah.
those people are
Well,
going
no,
to be
even
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
if Kamala wins, that's he's going to be gone the second she takes office.
You think so?
Oh,
Who
absolutely. Are
do
you
you,
kidding? Well, in fact, Biden has said that his biggest mistake was appointing Merrick Garland.
oh
For
really? I
numerous
hadn't
things. I
heard
mean,
that.
one, the guy's just been
Oh.
sitting. The guy to show how fair he is goes and after
Mm,
Hunter Biden, and apparently that's just
yeah.
got
Oh, I see what you
Joe,
mean. Right,
torn in
right.
knots.
Yeah.
Well, no, I see what you mean on that point. Correct. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the things in politics. If they're not on board, you got to get rid of them. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about how much Trump just gets away with every single day. He just gets away. The cases that are against him. Everything's been pushed back, and his sentencing, and it's just like if that was anybody else,
Oh yeah, exactly.
I just make
100%.
it make sense. I want somebody to make it make sense to me, but it doesn't make sense, and I'm so sick of it. I want to
In
get into
politics,
law. I'm 53 years
nothing
old.
makes
You
sense
think?
in politics.
Hey,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be the
I
first
always tell you
person.
guys this.
What did you guys say?
No, I was going to say I always tell you the story of I had a guy vote for me one time because his dog liked me.
No.
And that was the moment I realized voters are extremely finicky. And think about this. It comes down to you're sitting in front of a piece of paper and you got to fill in little circles.
Mm-hmm.
And in that process, there's hundreds of things you got to vote on, and you get lazy and bored because you're an average person. You start filling things in. I remember that guy. I like him, my dog. And voters are like that. That's how it is.
Yeah, with the judges, there were
Yeah.
so many. And I remember researching in the past all those judges. That's a lot of work. And when my daughter was filling out her ballot, she's like, man, Mom, I can see why a lot of people don't vote. And I was like, but
Exactly.
we have to. And, if you have to, I mean, our ballots this year, 2 pages front and back. That was a lot, for.
I bet you there are some people that just get the ballot and just vote for the president and turn it in.
Yeah, I do wonder about like my
Think
kids.
about it.
I've guided my daughters, and so they know that I'm researching it. And I got the book that did the yes and the no's, and you can read people's opinions, and you can't sit and do all of that. So you want to know a little bit. But for those, I'm just like, don't just vote for the president this time. We need you to keep voting blue. And I'm not sure what's on my daughter's boyfriend's ballot because he's in a different city. But I, guided him with the ones that I knew that were important for us. And so he'll have to figure out the other ones. But they were open to listening.
Before you get down to the city council, for example, you have a
Yeah.
whole bunch of things to vote on, and then you get tired. People are calling you. You get messages. So the average voter is not like an educated voter. They're people that are just average people. They're not uneducated. Some are,
Right.
but it's people that fill in bubbles.
I received a guide. I don't know if you got this, Louis, where
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like those little cards, and those kind of were helpful. I didn't, one of them I voted opposite of what they said because I asked you guys, but
Sure.
those were super helpful. But like you said, not everybody's reading that. They just
No.
need to get it done. They're going to look at but we need more than just the president. vote, we need the rest, and so luckily I was guiding the people in my life, but you're right, most of the people aren't going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's unfortunate, but yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, the voter guides do help, though.
Yes.
There's a group that actually is sending out misinformation on that. They'll make it look like it's sent by
Oh,
friends of the
yes.
community, or they can name it anything they want. You know,
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about
oh
that.
yeah,
I did
you can
check
form
mine over.
a group, and you call yourself like Citizens for a Better Tomorrow or whatever, and you recommend things, and you're opposite of what you know what I mean. So you got to be very careful.
Yes, and those yeses and nos. That's what I was explaining to my daughters and to Austin. I was like,
Yeah,
yes could mean no. You got to really
correct.
read it over and understand what you're reading, and read it a few times because they were tricky.
Right,
Not
exactly.
saying it's on purpose, but for a young person who's just now getting into it, and an older person like me, who really is paying attention now, but probably didn't before. I followed before. Remember that I said that, so I would go in and go, "Hey, how do I vote?" Not even
Well, Stacy, I mean, it's like what
looking.
I'd really like to hear is, your daughter's opinions and people from her age group. I mean, it's like, one of the things that, I've been trying to reach out, and it's very difficult when, you're a grandpa trying to, to talk to 25-year
Mhm.
olds. But that, to me, I think they're the key to this election.
Well,
And I think
my
that,
daughter, yeah, my daughters, they're the reason I'm paying attention, and they've taught me stuff. I'm going to be honest. They taught me to be aware of the words I choose about certain things, and my daughter's part of the LGBTQ community, and so one of them, and so she, I would say things, and it was like, oh, that hurt your feelings, or just not educating myself, but things that were or important to them have become super important to me, and so, but yeah, they're definitely with me. My son, he's 28, and so I don't know what he's going to do, but he said he wasn't voting for him. But I can't follow up to see what did you vote for. I'm just trying to educate him, but he's super busy, and he has his ballot sitting on his thing at home. But and he is busy. My husband's home, because he had surgery, so my son is kind of doing everything there that he can at work, and so and he's racing his car, and so, it's not something he's going to sit down and actually read everything. So he came over, and I gave him a guide, and I put it in an envelope, and it was a gentle reminder, and just said, here, this is how we went. And if you'd like to use it, this is why. And I highlighted some things. And so he took it, and he's like, okay, mom. And he's like, so we'll see. But my daughters definitely, they're feeling like I feel 100%, and one of them works in an environment where there's a lot of Republicans, but she kind of pushes back on some of them, trying to explain to them, that's certain things like abortion, for example. One of the people she works with, she was like voting the other way for him, and then she goes, "Oh, so does women's rights, your right to make a choice for yourself, is that not important?" And she goes, "Oh, well, it is." And she goes, "Well, he's not," so she kind of pushed back and told him and gave her information, that we've
well, I
talked
mean,
about.
let me give you my opinion from 40 years in medicine, and having, done, lots of DNEs and DNCs for,
Yes.
for miscarriages and stuff like that. Abortion is not killing viable kids.
Yeah.
One, no woman wants an abortion unless she has to have one. But if you need one, you want to make sure that it's safe. And right now, it is not safe. We're putting lots of women putting their health in jeopardy. Since Trump has passed his multi-state abortion ban, 65,000 women out of the 900,000 who have been raped since then, which is just a mind-boggling figure, got pregnant and had to carry their rapist baby around. Now, it's your choice, But I can tell you, if I was a woman and I got raped, fuck that. I'm not carrying a rapist baby around.
A- and then
I
I,
would
oh,
tear it out myself.
I,
Much less, have to go through, you know, the trauma of all that. I mean, that just is mind-boggling.
well, you know how I feel about that, being that I was molested by my grandfather. And thank God, I mean, I was young, but God, what if I wasn't? What if I would have been at that age? And I know I'm just talking about this freely, but it is the reason I'm so passionate about our protections, our rights, because that's happening to women, young girls.
Well,
That's
I mean, it's
happening.
like we're moving backwards. I mean, it's like, I'm starting to see, women coming forward like that. They're trying to be shamed that it's your fault.
And
It's like if only,
I was reading about the Texas abortion ban because I'm from Texas, and it's important. I have people living there that this would affect. But they were talking about this, the percentage of babies, infants, dying, the percentage going up. And it's because these women are having to carry non-viable pregnancies to term, or they have something genetically wrong with them that they're not going to survive. So they're making these women have these babies that they know are not going to survive once they're outside of the womb. And, you know, women will make that
well, I
choice
mean,
ahead
yeah,
of
I mean,
time, but they don't have
that's
to
why
do that.
we need to get government out of this. And one of the things I'm having a real
Absolutely.
problem with is the whole states' rights issue. Since when does the state I live in determine what my health care is? Because, you know, my prostate is going to be taken care of the same in California, Texas,
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Massachusetts. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's going to be the same care. But in this one issue, we
Hmm.
have, we're going to let the states decide, what you're going to be able to do medically. And that is just insane.
And
It's like, one of the most dangerous things historically a woman can do is get pregnant. And if you
yeah.
don't think so, go look at any cemetery before 1920,
Hmm.
and you will see so many young women with their stillborn kid buried with them. And I mean, that's the miracle of medicine.
Scenario, and just say women's health. Women's health.
Right.
This is about our health. There are women who want babies and they get pregnant, and that pregnancy doesn't turn out. They have to have a DNC. Is that how you? Yeah. And I had a friend who did that, Cheryl Luke. And but it's not just about making that choice, of aborting a baby. This is about our choice as women, making the choice for
But
our bodies and
well, let me give
what's
you
important
a
to
little.
us.
Let me give you a little interesting side note that I just heard recently. That one of the major reasons that these evangelical, what I call
Hmm.
Christo-fascists, are so dead set against IVF is because IVF is used by people that are gay to get pregnant, and that
Yeah.
is why they're against it, because they don't want gay people having babies. Whether you're a lesbian or a gay guy or whatever.
Right.
So that's what they see as IVF.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, guys, we're at the 44-minute mark. Harry, I hope things are well with you. And Ken's off, gallivanting around Norway and Oslo. I saw
Oh.
the Munch My Screen painting yesterday, and it's like, I thought that was very apropos,
Yeah.
considering what's going on. So anyway, let's go around the table. Last thoughts before we sign off, and we get down to 1 week before.
Yeah, no,
Stacy?
I'll start off by saying if you know somebody that can vote and has not voted, get them to vote. It's all turnout. And if you haven't voted, vote. It's turnout, turnout, turnout. That's it.
And I agree with that. And I'm telling everyone I know, I don't think we're going to turn people who aren't going our way, but I do feel like it's important that everyone who can vote votes. We've got to get out there and show up. So those exit polls are higher for us, right?
Yep, that's right.
Very important.
Well, okay. Well, everybody, thank you for following along, and for the people that see this later on our YouTube channel. We'll see you next week at same time, hopefully I
Okay.
won't be in the same place. So I'll be back
I'll
in my
be here.
studio. So
I'll be
that's
here.
okay.
okay, guys.
We're going to
until
be
then,
so nervous next week. You know, we're going to be crazy next week.
Yes,
Oh,
you will.
Yeah.
but thank you for being here because I needed this week just to talk.
Okay, guys. See you
All
later.
right. Bye.
We'll see you guys. Thank you.